Today we're checking out the movie-to-game adaptation for James Cameron's Avatar: The Game. The movie has been hyped to be an amazing cinema experience. The question is, can Avatar: The Game deliver a great gaming experience, or will it fall into the humdrum of most movie games? Let's find out. Avatar puts players in control of an RDA soldier fresh on the planet Pandora. Humans are trying to harvest the planet's rich resources, and the Na'vi, the planet's indigenous population, are getting in the way. The RDA utilizes a new technology called avatars, which puts soldiers' waking minds into the body of a genetically engineered Na'vi to infiltrate the tribes of the planet. The game gives players the choice to choose between going rogue from the RDA and helping the Na'vi in your avatar, or to follow orders and wipe out the Na'vi while in human form. The choice morally tries to make players want to side with the Na'vi, but if you do, you will be extremely disappointed. The game is completely unbalanced when it comes to which side you play for. The Na'vi are all spear-wielding, arrow-shooting simpletons when it comes to combat, and the RDA, however, have the best weapons, vehicles, and are just a hell of a lot more fun to play as. The game experience itself, however, leaves something to be desired. The only reason I found myself continuing through the game was to keep gaining experience and unlocking more weapons, armors, and skills. Everything in the game rewards players with experience, whether it's completing missions or killing enemies. This is really the driving force to continue playing the game. I mean, the more experience you rack up, the more items and abilities you're going to have access to. Most of the missions in the game, however, have you fetching items and heading to different locations to complete very formulaic mission objectives. Completing missions that all feel the same gets a bit boring after a while. The combat in Avatar: The Game plays a lot like Lost Planet, but in a not as polished type of way. The targeting system auto-locks onto enemies when you aim near them, but it never feels like you're in control of the targeting, which dumbs down the experience. The combat in the game just feels a little bit off. I mean, the game really encourages you to use your skills in the fight, most of which really don't provide any value to a fight other than to heal you or get you out of the fight altogether to be able to heal. It's a bit frustrating and a little bit disappointing. This is where Avatar: The Game really shines. I mean, the graphics in this game are really quite nice. The environments are all lush and robust, and the colors are extremely vibrant. The Na'vi look great as well. This is all due to the fact that the game runs on the Far Cry 2 engine. This was a really great choice on Ubisoft's part, since the game has to try and live up to the film, which visually looks phenomenal. The sound in Avatar isn't great, but it isn't terrible either. I mean, it's just okay. The voice acting doesn't provide any performances that you'd write home about. They're all very average. The soundtrack has the same issue. It feels like it never really reaches that epic level that you'd expect it to while you're in combat. This is one of the biggest gripes I had while playing Avatar. The game's controls are really poorly designed. Too many times while I was playing the game did I find myself getting increasingly frustrated while controlling creatures or vehicles. The controls don't feel dialed in enough. A little more time spent on polishing these up would have went a long way. Avatar: The Game is interesting. It's the type of game I found myself complaining about while playing, but I still felt compelled to continue. Sure, it has its shortcomings, but it's not terrible. The game is a standalone story that is separate from the upcoming film, and I think that if Ubisoft would have chose to try and tell the story of the film, the game would have been a bit more fun to play and would have provided some variety in the missions you're assigned. While not a stellar gaming experience by any means, Avatar: The Game manages to provide players with some beautiful visuals and pretty decent gameplay.